Okay. So when it comes to leadership, one of the things for me was I never saw myself as a leader. And people kind of find that unusual. And I'd say that in leadership roles, yes, I've been in leadership roles. I get it, obviously, you see the shirt, right? So I love leadership, but I see it in a different way than most people. I did not see myself as being a leader. And let me explain that. Being around other people in that consider themselves leaders and use that word or that title very closely identified more than their name at times, right? I'm sure we all know those people. But I always saw three types of people that were leaders, and none of those genres or those little boxes worked for me. And one of them, first leader, is the lineage leader. And that is that leader who we all know where their father was a leader, their mother was a leader, their aunt, they can go back generations and show where they had this long lineage of leaders. And it's like their aunties, uncles, sisters, cousins, brothers, sisters. Yeah, all those people, they're all leaders. So for me, also being someone who's adopted and finding out my own path along my own lineage, I didn't have this lineage to say just to follow the road of where other people had left for me and just step in those footsteps, right? The next one is the legacy leader. So the legacy leader is that person who's known since they were like 2 years old, probably from the time they were born, they were a leader. And everyone around them knows that they're a leader. I'm sure we've been around those people. And the best example I can give is the lemonade stand, where most of us would have had just a cardboard box if we were lucky, or just like that chair, the old lawn chair. This person built the whole stand with the sign that lit up. So that is the type of person. And everyone around them knows that this person is going to be a leader. They sell the most Girl Scout cookies. They make the best, arrow. They could do everything perfect. Hopscotch, everything. And from the time they're 8 years old, they know exactly who they are, where they want to go, who they want to be, and how to get there. And I'm thinking, like, who does that at 8, right? But so I already knew I'm not a legacy leader. And other people, their parents even know, they're like, I knew from the time Samantha was 4 that she was going to be president of the United States. So not me either. So no lineage, no legacy. Then there's the lucky leader, all right? The lucky leader is the person that doesn't have to try hard at all. People just want to follow them. Probably better than explaining what the lucky leader is for me to tell you what they aren't. So the person that's not the lucky leader is the person who comes in, they get all the education, certificates, they volunteered, you did everything you think is right to get you along the path of leadership. And so you're just wanting people to recognize you and to follow you. And instead, the lucky leader comes in like Dracula and says, blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like, all of them. And you're like, I've been building this castle for us for like 10 years. And you don't really want to say too much about the lucky leader because you get this special thing called a PhD, play a hater degree. All right. So you have a choice then. Either you're going to be a hater or you're going to follow, right? So none of these, I'm not lucky in being a leader. I'm the person that's trying to build stuff and everybody else is going to pass. I don't have the legacy. I didn't see myself as being a leader. In fact, I was very awkward. I wasn't a very extroverted person as a child at all, and I had no lineage. So I didn't feel that I fit into those categories. I didn't feel, I felt a deficit when I looked at that. And talking to other people, I started to find out people in leadership positions also felt they aren't leaders. So that is part of what I want to share with you today, how I began to develop or accept the point of being a leader. And it's a little different than most people. So I'm going to share a movie I saw, in fact, while I was off during everything that's been going on with COVID-19. And the movie, you might want to write this down, that helped me, was Thor Ragnarok. All right, now I can't spell Ragnarok, but you can definitely Google that. Now remember, I'm an outside the box kind of person here, so this was for me. I'm finding something for me. So let's talk about Thor here for a second. Okay, first, he is fine, okay, but that has nothing to do with this, okay? The thing is, he had all 3 of those qualities, right? He had the lineage, family of leaders, from his mother and his father, both sides of his family. He had the legacy. He knew from the time he was born, what was he going to be? King. He was a leader. And what was the other thing? He was lucky. Thor didn't have to do nothing. He landed on Earth and everybody wanted to follow him, correct? So this is where we're talking about having those qualities. But let's talk a little bit about this. And if you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to try to give you those spoiler alerts so I don't ruin it for you. the part of the movie that moved me to understanding leadership for myself and what I'm sharing with you today. There was a scene, well, let me go back. Thor had decided he did not want any of this. He decided to give it all up. He went away. And when he came back, he had a brother. His brother's name is Loki. He's not any kind of leader. He's just a lapless leader, if there's such a thing. Okay, he's just there filling space, sucking air. So his brother has sent their dad, Odin, away. So when Thor comes back, he's like, where's daddy? Where's he at? He's looking around, and Loki has sent him away. So, naturally Thor is upset, but instead of being upset with himself, he's upset with what he chose and how those choices have now led to certain consequences. So they find their dad has been sent from Asgard to Earth. Okay, so they go to Earth and they find their dad. And there he is. He's sitting, oh, spoiler alert, because he dies here. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, just kind of like ignore this part. But his dad is sitting there at the end of this beautiful cliff, and he's looking out into the sun, and there is the Lion King up there. He's sitting there, and I know we've got a couple of things we're going to build in here for reference, but don't worry about it, okay? I get that, infringement rights, right? So anyway, the Lion King, there he is, Mufasa's in the sky, and his dad, poof, he turns it to gold dust, and he just flares off. Oh my gosh, so Thor now is incensed. He is mad. He's got to kick Loki's butt. So while they're sitting here arguing, in the background, this baby mama, sister mama, baby, how do you say it? Oh, anyway, Odin had another kid, okay? So older sister who's come back to, she's supposed to be the queen, okay? So she comes back and she says, is Odin gone? I'm sorry I missed it. Basically like, who cares? I'm here to get my stuff. We have relatives like that sometimes, but anyway, I digress. So Thor is like, who is this baby mama sister daddy didn't know about? All right, so he takes this hammer, and this hammer, Mojar, if you don't know, is the most powerful thing in the world. Okay, you cannot move it unless you're a good person and you're Thor. Okay, those two things. Okay, so he takes this hammer and he throws the hammer. She catches it like this, and she crushes it. She crushes it like nothing. It goes in 1,000 pebbles. So Thor is like, ah, and Loki's like, beam me up, Scotty. And I know, there we go again. I forgot to say something about there being a little spoiler alert here. But okay, so he says, beam me up, Scotty. If you haven't watched Picard, you gotta check it out, right? Anyway, this is a bad idea. So let me rewind. Remember, Thor throws Mojar. She catches it, crushes 1,000 pieces. And again, Loki yells, because he's not a leader, beam me up, Scotty. So they go up this reading rainbow. And that's what I imagine it to be. They're headed up the reading rainbow and headed that to the planet Asgard. As they're doing it, their baby mama sister starts grabbing them and throwing them out of this reading rainbow. So they're falling. She throws Loki out and she grabs Thor and he can't fight her off and she throws him out and he lands smack dab on this wasteland. Stuff is falling out the sky, stuff you don't want to fall on you. Okay, so now we're at the calmer part. So we think, as Thor is laying on the ground, these humanoids come up to them and they say, are you food or are you a fighter? Well, common Thor, if you know Thor, he gets up, he puts his hand to his lips and he says, I am Thor, and they throw something at him, he falls over and dies. No, he doesn't die. I just want to make it more dramatic just because we're talking, right? He just gets zapped. And let me go back to that. They ask him, are you food or are you a fighter? And that's important. He took too long to waste time on identifying and explaining who he was. In leadership and being a leader, you don't have to explain who you are. When you come into the room, it is exemplify who you are. You should already have, people should wonder who you are. You don't have to announce yourself. So one of the things I want you to understand is why that movie meant something to me is, are you food or are you a leader? Are you at the table or are you on the menu? You do not have to announce yourself as a leader. You don't have to fit into categories or have titles. Leadership is about what's in here. It's about who you are and what you want to give to others. And though we see all types of leaders, at the end of the day, what makes a good leader is becoming better. Not how many titles, not how many awards, not people wanting your autograph. It's about what are you doing to become better? Because in order for you to make someone else better, you have to be okay with becoming better. So the focus here is not on comparison leadership or compartmentalizing it. It's about making it better. So Again, we're saying that again. I want to say that one more time. Are you a leader or are you food? Are you on the menu or are you just sitting at the table? And it goes into something a little deeper. When you're at the table, are you being served? Are you serving? Or are you bringing the heat? I mean, are you bringing the meat, slapping on the table, saying, I got the main course? And that's something else we can do for another session when I speak again. But that's it. When you're at the table, what do you do? There's so many times that we are excited about being at the table and we do nothing. We sit there. So it's very important always, am I food or am I a leader? So I want to share with you a couple barometers that I use personally for myself to gauge where I'm at. And I'm always becoming better. I'm always making mistakes. I'm always doing, I'm gonna say always, I always make mistakes and I'm do about this much right. I do about this much where I'm kind of like, throw that out. And that's where I had a problem with identifying that I do have leadership qualities and I am a leader because I'm constantly getting better. So I'll start with this, some barometers. So one of them is my favorite that Nina helped me with, and that is checking your checkbook. So what are you spending your treasure on? What are you spending your money on? Are you spending it on things like her hub to make sure that's staying in existence and helping other women? Are you helping with any women movements, the YWCA? Are you active in your church or faith organization? Are you helping children? Are you going back? When we think about where we're spending our money, there are so many organizations and Netflix, I know, that we can be spending, but just taking out a portion of that to build into what you stand for as a leader is important. People talk about membership cards. They are important. They're part of what identifies you and what you're passionate about as a leader. The second is your calendar. And I know now we have electronic calendars, but your calendar, who are you spending your time with, okay? So are you spending your time with those who are in need? Are you spending time with building something? Like, I love her hub. So the organization, the website, are you spending time around women? Are you doing things that seed back into others? What about your family? Are you into social justice where it has to do with a lot of movements that are going on in our country? What are you doing that takes your money and your time and puts them together to fortify who you are? Because it's not just about walking, it's about talking and walking, doing both together. And the other one, and people always get worried about this one, is to stop having ideas and start developing a vision. Now, I'm not using visions because that can get weird, okay, when you get too many. At this point, stop having ideas and start having a vision. Here's the difference. An idea has ownership. It's my idea. When people think about it, when you talk, what do you say? I have an idea. You want to know what my idea is? Ideas are singular, they're personal, and they're mine. But when people have a vision, I have a vision. You don't say my vision, that doesn't normally come out. I have a vision that I want to share with you. A vision is leadership. That's what leaders do. And so let's talk about that. Ideas create the vision, right? And the vision develops a plan. When you get to that plan, the reason that leaders, when we think about great leaders or people we admire, one of the things they're able to do is to get other people to engage and to be involved in their vision. And then when you get people engaged and involved in your vision, it's no longer idea, right? It's a movement. And that's what you want to be able to do, is to create a movement and have people work with you. Leaders are not singular people, though we have seen those type of leaders, okay? A true leader engages, they develop other leaders, and they build with time and treasure. So, sorry there, my things fell there. So as we go back in there, people may not, how can I say this in a way that is not offensive but encourages you? That people may not like change, but they love a vision. So are you a food or are you a leader? Are you at the table? And when you're at the table, what are you doing? Because just getting to the table is not enough. And the other thing I want to discuss with you is greatness. So one of the things about leadership also is people are always focused on how great I am, what am I doing? But greatness is limited, okay? It is definitely limited, but investing in yourself is limitless. It has no limit. It can go on. You never stop becoming better. So always strive to become better because greatness will follow. So be a fighter, check your calendar, look at your checkbook, right? Develop a vision and Let me see if I can do it. I got to do it the backwards way. Stay prosper. I can't get live long and prosper. There you go. A lot of infringement things going on here. Hope we don't get sued or anything. Just joking. But whatever it is, I want you to be excited about what you're doing and stop living your life within categories and titles. And thank you. And so we have another part that a little more interactive that I wanted to work with you all on. And I asked everyone to write down a word, no matter what, it's a vision, anything that has to do with how you see leadership or leaders. So it doesn't, it can be a flower. I mean, some people say, you know, and that's why I love Karen, like was right on what I wanted to talk about, even though she had all the proper terms and names with that. But when we talk about, some people see sunflowers as being leadership. And we talked about how their heads turn and they follow the sun. They're always following what's going on. And so when we talk about what embodies leadership, don't just think about words. And there are words that mean it, but what does that word really mean to you? So I'm hoping that we can go through, not quickly, but have a time for you to show your word. I'll do mine at the end because I like to learn from others. Again, that helps me become better in what I'm doing. So I'm going to go back in. We'll open the mics and we'll go through everyone that who wants to start off. If you're on the phone, like Sonia, if you can just shout yours, we'll be good, or Sharice. But we really want to make sure that we're doing a showing of what your word is for leadership.